My name is Christina Pomponio. I grew up in Fallcroft, Delaware County. I was raised in a close-knit Italian Catholic family. I went to Catholic school, attended church every Sunday. I'd actually be grounded if I didn't. Served as an altar girl and spent time working in the parish house with the priests. God played a major role in many aspects of my life as well as that of my family, but I'd never truly understood how important it all was. The last few years have been some of the most trying and confusing years. Aside from the obvious, a national pandemic and the chaos going on in our world, I have also faced many trials and losses in my life. It all started in 2015 when I entered into a relationship with my daughter's father. He had a checkered past and struggled with addiction for most of his life. Although he was sober for the majority of our relationship, being with him was never easy. I was alienated from my family, I lost the business that I had worked so hard to build, and was forced to file for bankruptcy. The stress and anxiety were too much to bear most days. During my pregnancy, I had lost one of my biggest supporters, my daughter's paternal grandmother, Sharon. She had slipped into a coma during an emergency heart surgery the same day that I went into labor and tragically passed away. Thankfully, her father remained clean and sober through this traumatic event, as well as for 2 years after that. But unfortunately, in November of 2019, without warning, he relapsed and turned back to drugs. After a long battle, he succumbed to his addiction and passed away in May of 2020. It was a lonely time in my life. I was trying to survive as a single mom, jumping from job to job, trying to do the best that I could to provide and keep my head above water. At this point in my life, I felt completely helpless and felt that God had completely given up on me. I was a good person who came from a good family and who always tried to do the right thing. So why was God punishing me? Then I met Cody. He not only brought some of the light back into my life, giving me hope, but he, as well as his family, loved and accepted my daughter like she was one of their own. I began to feel blessed, but still something was missing. During COVID, I was diagnosed with some mentally and physically debilitating health issues and was burned out from working a job in the medical field. I found myself in an extremely dark place, and for the first time, I knew I couldn't dig myself out. I began to question everything, especially my self-worth. I tried desperately to fix the way I was feeling through medications, self-help books, and relying on my significant other for fulfillment, but nothing I did seemed to fill the gaping hole that formed in my heart. It was then that I realized there was one last thing, something I had never tried before. I looked up and I started to pray. It was time to let go of the need to try and control what was going on around me. So in April of last year, I made the choice to attend the Easter service at Covenant Fellowship. From that moment, when I walked through the doors, I knew I was home. The peace I had been searching for what seemed like an eternity was all around me. I laughed, I cried, I smiled more than I had in months, and after hearing the bridge testimony that particular Sunday, I wanted to know more. There was an imperfect woman like myself standing in front of the congregation sharing her story, radiating with joy about how much Christ and her experience with the bridge course had changed her life. I had to know more. Cody and I then made the choice to sign up for the bridge course, and it was exactly what we needed. Over the next 10 weeks, I devoted every Wednesday night to attending bridge. I was nervous at first, which was unlike me, but it turned out to be exactly the opposite of what I expected. When I first came in, we were put into groups with people who had questions just like mine. The atmosphere was warm, and the leaders were there to guide me and to answer any question that I had, big or small. We ate together, and then we listened to a teaching on a different message each week. Then we attended a retreat. This is where it all came together for me. I was able to truly get a feel for my faith and the transformation that was happening inside of me. It was here that I made the decision to accept Christ into my heart. Attending Bridge was the best decision I have ever made. I'm so grateful and so blessed to have found such an amazing place full of imperfect people like myself who find joy in walking their walk with Christ. For the first time in forever, I feel a sense of belonging, and I know that no matter what, God is with me as I navigate through the next season of my life. I am eternally grateful to my church and all that it offers through groups like Bridge, the fellowship, and all of the incredible people I have met along the way who I would now consider family. And most importantly, I'm grateful to God for pursuing me and for giving me the gift of grace, redeeming a sinner like me. If you aren't sure what you believe or if you have questions, please consider coming to the Bridge course. I promise you won't regret it.